Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashnaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Today's Snana Yatra. This is appearance day of Lord Jagannath and installation day. It is according to the lunar calendar Jyeshta Purnima. So in Jagannath Puri they would say today is Jyeshta Shukla, full moon, Purnima of Jyeshta. So this celebration happens. It is actually one of the hottest days of the year, supposed to be, at least there. It's different here. The weather is different in the south, the weather pattern. And so they do this Abhishek ceremony also. They observe it for cooling. But anyway, it's the day that Lord Jagannatha was first installed. Snana Yatra. It is a major festival in Jagannath Puri observed. They have a Snan Vedi, a place where they put the deities, and from the day before people assemble. Big gathering happens. Lord Jagannath, especially for Gaudiya Sampradaya, is very significant because of the philosophy, form of Lord Jagannath. Krishna has many forms, but the particularly form of Lord Jagannath is a form where he's experiencing separation from his devotees. So, and exhibiting great bhav, ecstasy in that separation. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed a long time in Jagannath Puri. It is significant in our philosophy. On this day, in the Dyumna Maharaj, if you see the pastime, he installed Lord Jagannath, and under guidance of Lord Brahma, they performed Abhishek with about 108 golden water pots. It was first part of Satya Yuga, some 153 million years ago. So the narrations are given in detail. Regarding Snana Yatra, so what we understand is that it takes place 15 days before Rath Yatra, that bathing ceremony, and deities are taken out just after sunrise. It will be now also, right now. Deities are taken out first Baladev, then Sudarshan, Subhadra, Jagannath, and they carried in a procession known as Pahandi procession. If you have seen the video, they sway. Deities are heavy, very heavy. So they tie the rope and they sway, move forward like that, all the way till the Snan Vedi. Then they carried to the Snan Vedi, and under a colorful canopy, whole day they give the darshan. So just as he was bathed 153 million years ago by 108 gold pots, so he's bathed by 108 pots, maybe not gold, I don't know, with sandal water. And it was before, now also I suppose that the water is taken from a part of the jungle in Orissa where no shadow of any animal has fallen. Some remote corner, still water they'll find, different from, it would be more pure. So they get special water for that. Now, there's a particular well that they get water from, if I'm not mistaken. The well which is within the compound. They perform the bathing ceremony quite throughout the day, and many people who cannot take darshan, they can take darshan of the deities. Now they're for everyone. But of course, as we know, like for non-Hindus, they can see, but Hindus, what they call Hindus, they can go and embrace the deities. It's a very intimate relation he has with his devotees. So as this goes on in the evening, during sunset, what happens? Because this is Purnima, on Purnima we understand sun and moon are 180 degrees opposite each other because they travel at different speeds, but on Purnima it happens that they're 180 degrees. So deities are facing east, and from the east the sun rises, and in the west the moon rises in the east now, evening, and the sun is setting in the west. So a time comes when the sun is bright behind and the moon is in the front, and it forms it says a celestial delight. The image is very amazing, lighted up. So during this festival, just after the festival, a swarm, the Jagannath deities and Baladeva and Subhadra, they're dressed in Hathi Vesh. There's a story how this happened. As with many of these pastimes in Lord Jagannath, there are so many versions. But there was a person who came to see Lord Jagannath saying that I want to see the Lord of the universe. And his idea is that the Lord of the universe should have an elephant trunk. Some say that he was a devotee of Ganesh. Some say that he thought elephant is such a great animal. So if I see the Lord, he should look like an elephant. Different versions are there. So he came before the Lord, and then he didn't see elephant form, he just saw the bathing ceremony. So then he left, disappointed. Then Lord Jagannath, in his heart, through Paramatma, he understood what is going on. So he took form of a Brahmana, and as he was leaving Purushottam Kshetra, he came and told them, no, actually if you go now, you will see that. Now you will see that he's in the form of elephant. So he went back, and they had for the first time put this Hathi Vesh, that Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra Maharani were dressed in elephant the form. The front had a trunk, and so he looked like an elephant. So he was happy. And now it happens that towards the evening, they'll always put on this Hathi Vesh, this elephant costume. So as this bathing ceremony is over, they do an offering of many items, hundreds of pots in front of the deity. Whatever they offer there, and now it's now offered in the front of the deity, because he's not going to leave his place. And as might be expected from someone who's taking bath whole day, and then in the evening also he catches a cold. So Lord Jagannath gets transcendently sick, and so for 2 weeks he takes treatment. He takes special herbs given from jungles of Odisha, it said, some traditional preparation. And who's taking care of him and renovating him? The Shabaras. They're descendants of the people who took care of Jagannath before, when he was in the forest. Shabaras. So their descendants, they take care of him. This was under order of King Indradyumna. So they give him these herbs, and also because of this water, a lot of water covering it, the paint fades. So they also renovate him and paint so that he looks fresh again. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, it's mentioned in a purport in our Chaitanya Charitamrita, that at this time Lord Jagannath performs his Swakiya duties with Lakshmi, and after that takes permission to leave on Rath Yatra. So then he leaves. Then there's some esoteric pastime narrations that after that he goes to Vrindavan to meet Radharani, and that is a Parakya Bhav, which is higher. So it's a deep topic. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains in detail. Anyway, for our narration, today being Snana Yatra, it's the day of installation of Jagannatha and the day that he appeared. He was carved and ready for installation. So someone may say that Jagannatha is Krishna. Krishna's appearance is on Bhadrapad, Krishna Ashtami, Krishna Paksha. So why is it a different? It's different because this form appeared at this time. This form of Krishna, he has different form. This particular form appeared at this time. So that is the significance. So now, appearance of Lord Jagannath. Lord Jagannath is an eternal form. He is residing eternally in Puri Dham, in Vaikuntha, in Goloka. Yes, in Goloka. In a corner of Goloka, there is Puri Dham, where Lord Jagannath resides. So Lord Jagannath, actually, as we know from so many lectures we heard, that it's not a form of Krishna in Vrindavan. He is in Dwarka, but the mood is Goloka mood. Therefore, it's in Goloka. It's not down. The form of Jagannatha, the abode, is in Goloka actually. It's in Goloka mood because he's remembering the pastime and remembering his devotees, that form, his Leela in Goloka. So this form was manifested in Dwarka during Krishna's pastimes. There, Rohini had visited Dwarka. So the queens, they used to hear Krishna always at night saying different names of his associates in Vrindavan. So they asked they asked Rohini, who are these personalities? She said, okay, I'll narrate it to you, but on one condition, that he should not hear it, or he'll leave here. He'll go back. So they told Subhadra, that Maharani, that she should stand at the door, make sure no one comes, Krishna or Balram, and they'll narrate the pastimes. So she began to narrate Bal Leela of Vrindavan, Krishna's pastimes. And because they never saw the pastimes, they never saw any other pastimes, but particularly these pastimes. So as she was narrating the pastimes, then Subhadra heard, she went in ecstasy, the pastimes. And then Balaram came, he went in ecstasy. And Krishna also. And when they went in ecstasy, they took this form of Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, Maharani, because of intense separation as well as ecstasy, remembering the pastime. So Prabhupada calls this form, it's in our Gaudiya Siddhanta, that is called Mahabhav Prakash. Bhav is that feeling, great feeling for devotee feels for God, or God, Krishna, for the devotee. This is Mahabhav, manifestation of great feeling, ecstasy. It's so great that his form changes. So that form manifested at that time. It's an eternal form. And later, not later, it was already happened, that form then actually manifested in this planet in a place, temple. So what is the reason for Jagannath's descent? It's given in Shastra. There's a narration in Chaitanya Mangal by Lochan Das Thakur. He says there that gives a narration how, again, there's when we search, and we have to look in the book, but there are 2-3 versions of this also. But the part which the one I got is that Narad Muni was in Vaikuntha serving Lakshmi, and she became very pleased. So she asked him what he wants. So he said that I want the prasad of Vishnu. So then she became morose and she said, I can't give that. No. Then he said, no, you asked what I want. So she said, anything but that. He said, no, this is what I want. Then she became very morose, that I made a promise, what shall I do? So she went back to serve Vishnu, and he saw that she was morose. Then he asked that, why are you so morose? She said that because someone asked for your prasad. She narrated the whole pastime. But I'm not supposed to give it. You said I shouldn't give it. So then he said, okay, yes, you're not supposed to, but what we'll do is that I look another way. When I turn, then you take it. I'll pretend I'm not looking. So she became very happy. So she took that prasad when he was not looking. She took his plate and she gave it to Narad Muni. Very little, it was little. So he took this prasad and went in ecstasy and started dancing all over the creation. And in the course of his dancing, then he came to Kailash. Then Lord Shiva asked him, then what is the reason of your ecstasy? What happened? So then he said that I got the prasad of Vishnu. So he said, can I have some? I don't have any. So he said, no, you must have some. So he took Narad's hand and checked, and he saw one between the nail and the finger, one particle. So he took it and he ate it, and then he went in ecstasy. He started chanting and dancing around all over Kailash. So then Devi Parvati came. She saw him dancing. So then she asked him, why are you in so much ecstasy? Then he said that I took prasad of Vishnu. So she said to give me some, and then he said, no, I don't have any. So she became very upset. And she became upset, then she began to remember her existence. She said that anyway, I'll never see Vishnu because I'm supposed to be shadow behind him, Maya Devi. I'll never see him, and my duty is to torment his parts and parcels, the jivas. What existence I have, I'll not see Vishnu, I'll never be able to approach devotees in that way. I have to make people suffer like this. And now I didn't get this prasad also. So she became very angry, and then the anger started to burn the lower planets gradually till the middle planets, till the higher planets. Then all the demigods went to Vishnu, and they said, this is the situation, we have to do something. So then he came to see her and told her that I'm going to appear in a form, and my prasad, you'll be able to get it. You'll get all of the prasad. Whatever comes, you'll get it first. So then she said, not only me, but what about my children? I have to make them suffer because they're not your devotees. But a lot of them are not going to surrender. So again, I'm tormenting them life after life. I want them also to get the prasad. So he said, okay, let it be, tathast. That there'll be a place on this planet where you can take the prasad of Vishnu and she'll get it, and after her all the jivas can get it. It's not supposed to be like that, that the jivas in this material world can get prasad of Vishnu, especially Kali Yuga. Actually, she was referring to Kali Yuga. That age will come when they will be suffering. He said, okay, they'll get access to this prasad. They're not supposed to actually. But due to mercy, his mercy, and due to your desire, a desire of Devi, so they'll get the prasad and they'll be able to relish it. So this is explained in Chaitanya Mangala of Lochandas Thakur. Then Lord Jagannath descended. This is not in any other place. But there are different sources of information of Lord Jagannath. For example, Matsya Purana, Vishnu, Agni Purana, Padma, Narad, and Brahma Purana. They contain information. But most detail is in Skanda Purana. Within Skanda Purana there is Purushottam Kshetra Mahatmya. That contains a lot of information. So all these pastimes are explained, but this what we read is not given there. That is in Chaitanya Mangala. So it's something that came later through Gaudiya Sampradaya. Okay, so the appearance of Lord Jagannath here is given in Purushottam Kshetra Mahatmya. A narration is given. It's a very long narration. We're not going to, we'll just look at the summary. But it's explained there that there was a gathering of sages in the forest, and they appointed Jaimin Rishi. They're different rishis. So Jaimin Rishi was appointed speaker because of his vast knowledge. So they asked him that, is there a place on this planet where we can go and be purified? The living entities can get purified. They're in such a suffering condition. So then he mentioned in his discourse of a place on Earth planet. He said that it's so pure that not only going, but who desires to go there will get purified. Just desiring and thinking about it, that gives purification. So then, while explaining about this dham, he explained about how it came to be, how it came to be known. So he said that Lord Brahma was the first created being. Lord Brahma was doing his duty of visarga. Sarga is creation, visarga is secondary creation. That everything after creation, Lord Brahma created the bodies, the planets, creation within the universe. He created. So this, in the course of this description, they explained about Purushottam Kshetra. When Brahma was creating, he began to realize, okay, I'm creating this material world and material suffering, and all these jivas are going to be here. So he became very little bit disturbed. He thought that what's going to happen? They're going to be here taking birth and suffering again and again. So out of compassion, he came before the Supreme Personality of Godhead and he prayed to them, prayed to him. He said that these jivas, they're going to be tormented by, there's actually a shloka in Srimad Bhagavatam. O great actor, my Lord, all these poor creatures are constantly perplexed by hunger, thirst, severe cold, secretion and bile, attacked by coughing winter, blasting summer, rain, and many other disturbing elements, and overwhelmed by strong, indefatigable sex urge and indomitable anger. I take pity on them and I am very much aggrieved for them. So suffering coming from nature, suffering coming from their own bodies. And notice here, people, so much after the sex urge, but here it's described as suffering. Brahma is saying, the Creator is saying that they are suffering because of indefatigable sex urge. That means they're going through suffering which is, it will never be reduced. Indefatigable, that means it can never become less. So it's a form of suffering. And indomitable anger. So he's saying, I'm taking pity on them. I'm very much aggrieved. So Lord Vishnu was very happy. He came on Garuda and pleased by his prayers, he told Lord Brahma that there's a place on this planet which is south of Mahanadi river. You know where's Mahanadi? Somewhere in Orissa. Mahanadi, south of Mahanadi river, but north of the ocean, that tract of land. And he says, jivas who go there, they'll get purified. Every step going towards that place is more and more pure. So he told Brahma, yes, they are suffering, but there'll be a place on the planet where they can go for relief. So he told Brahma to go and see this place. So Lord Brahma went and he approached what was the huge mountain. Now in Kali Yuga it's not so big. Many things are different in Kali Yuga. Even the size of Vrindavan, and who was meant to be there, 9 lakh cows are meant to be there first of all. Then other people and their cows. But now it looks small. It's the effect of Kali. But actually this mountain, Nilagiri, Blue Mountain, this is where Lord Jagannatha was situated. So when Brahma approached he could see from far away Nilgiri, the blue mountain, where he was told that this tract of land is there. And not only that tract of land, but residing there will be, he says, there will be Neel Madhav deity. Neel Madhav is the form of the Lord residing on this tract of land. So as Brahma appeared, he saw that huge blue mountain, and on top on that mountain, a huge Kalpavriksha tree, 2 miles wide, expanded. And from far away, he saw a huge dense forest surrounding that place. So gradually he went there and approached that place under the tree, and near to the tree was a tirtha. That was Rohini Tirtha. And little just far away was Neel Madhav. That is corresponding even today where Lord Jagannatha is installed. So there was a cave and Neel Madhav was there, Krishna, blue form with Lakshmi. And Lord Brahma was observing this beautiful place. Okay, he was observing this beautiful place and saw that while he's observing it, he saw a crow, and this crow was flying and it touched the water of Rohini Tirtha. As it touched the Rohini Tirtha water, it turned into a form of four-armed form, associate of Vishnu, basically Sarupya Mukti. So when he saw this form, then he understood this is not a normal Tirtha. This is Rohini Tirtha, basically. It's not a normal place. And he was astounded. So at that time, Yamaraj also appeared. Yamaraj appeared, being a devotee has higher qualities. So he could understand what happened at that particular place at that time. So he appeared there and he was concerned because he said, my duty is to punish sinful living entities. Now this place has come and a lowly crow got liberation. So he prayed to Lakshmi that what shall I do? What will I do? If this place is here, people are getting liberated so easily, then what task is left for me? So then Lakshmi told Yamaraj that this place is directly under Vishnu. The jivas who live here, they are not under you. And the jivas who come here, or who take shelter of this place, who meditate on this place, you do not have jurisdiction there. This is not your place. And neither the demigods. Everything is under Vishnu directly. So then Yamaraj begged forgiveness and said, okay, I didn't understand about the nature of this place. So then he asked that, is there other places like this in this planet, other dhams where I should not be coming? And also within this dham, what is the nature of this place? So then the Purushottam Kshetra Mahatmya within Skanda Purana, it goes on to explain great detail about all these dhams. So we can imagine, today we go to Jagannath Puri. We see the forms of Shiva. There are different forms of different lingas. And different tanks, tirthas, ponds. And they're all given in Skanda Purana. When was Skanda Purana written? We are talking, this is going back, this is from Satyayug, basically. This narration. So all these this is a dham mentioned in Shastra. It is, people always question, Indologists in the West, about Veda and how can we believe these things. But these texts were written so long ago. And they're describing things which are still there. This is, Sat. That anything associated with Vishnu is not under influence of time, getting unmanifest, getting destroyed. Sat. It's eternal, it will stay on. And whoever takes shelter of Vishnu will also not be under influence of time. So then Lakshmi addressed So yeah, Yamaraj begged forgiveness and asked about Puri Dham. So then that section continues explaining in Puri Dham, in that place, which today you go, all of the things are there. So many of them. Including, later we'll see, Bhuvaneshwar. On the way to Puri, later King Indradyumna was going to Puri and he came to Bhuvaneshwar, and what deities are there? It was there that time also. Satya Yuga. So as Yamaraj begged forgiveness, then Lakshmi then addressed Lord Brahma, who was standing there. He told him that in Satya Yuga of Svarochisha Manu, exactly she gave the time, because Manus keep changing. So at a particular Satyug of Svarochisha Manu, a king Indradyumna will be present on this earth. He'll be ruling the whole earth. So he'll need your guidance for performing Ashwamedh Yagyas and different rituals and observances, after which the Supreme Personality of Godhead will manifest here in this place. So the narration went on. Jaimini is speaking, Jaimin Rishi, because the Rishis asked him about that supreme place on this planet. So he is speaking about this, and some of this is in future tense. Okay, so now the narration went on about King Indradyumna. So then King Indradyumna, he was ruling the world from Avantipur, now I think known as Avanti, there's a place. So he was ruling the whole planet from there, and he was a Rajarshi, spiritually inclined person. So once there was a gathering of sages, ministers, different personalities, and he asked them, is there a place where I can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face? So they were all discussing, thinking among themselves. But one particular personality, he was a traveling mendicant, he was in that assembly. And he said, it's described there that he looked very old and worn, like he had done a lot of travel and a lot of study. So he said that when he was a child, he heard of a place on the northeast shore of Bharatvarsha. And he says that there is a forest. In the middle of the forest there is a hill, Nilachal, or Nilgiri. It's mentioned as Nilgiri. And in the center of that, on the top of that Nilgiri hill, there's a Kalpavriksha. That Kalpavriksha extends for 2 miles in all directions. And anyone who spends time under that tree, as day by day goes, he destroys his sinful reactions. And now again, this is a very long narration, we won't go in detail, but this Kalpavriksha also has a story. It comes in Bhagavatam, it comes in many texts, that Markandeya Muni, he wanted to live through the Pralaya, so he got benediction not to be destroyed from Lord Shiva. So when the waters of devastation came, it drowned everything, there was no life, that's it. So he was just floating around for a long time, because the water of devastation goes on from Brahma's whole night. Brahma's day is the duration of the creation. Partial annihilation happened. Then his night. So he was just floating around in these waters. And he was very tired. After some time he saw a Kalpavriksha. On one leaf, he saw a baby, beautiful looking baby. And that baby was sucking his toe. That was Krishna. So he was observing the beauty of the baby. Then the baby inhaled and he entered into the child's body. And he saw the whole creation in the body, including himself and his ashram and everything. Then the child exhaled. He could understand this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that was that vriksha, that tree, Kalpavriksha. And if you go, you will see it now in Jagannath Puri. It's right there. They're saying this is the tree. It's right there, next to Rohini Tirtha, and Nilachal now it's Kali Yuga, so it's not as big. So the mountain, the elevated place, as we go towards the deity, we climb up the steps. So anyway, that is the mendicant is describing that I saw this place. I heard, no, not so. I heard of this place when I was a child. And there's a huge tree extending 2 miles, Kalpavriksha. Whoever stays under that tree destroys his sinful reactions day by day. And next to there is a Tirtha, Rohini Tirtha, which liberated a simple lowly born crow. Crow is, not like a human, it's a lower birth. And then among birds you have different births. Crows are derided so much. Tad Vayasam Tirtham Ushanti Manasa in Srimad Bhagavatam, it says that a place that where literatures are glorified which are not describing the Supreme Personality of Godhead is like a place of pilgrimage of crows. So he said a lowly crow got liberation touching the water of that Rohini Tirtha. Then he said, I heard of this place, then I went there. He went there, he said, for 1 year. And for 1 year, he said, I saw demigods coming and worshipping Neel Madhav, the form of Godhead there. So the king at once, he said, no delay. He called a meeting of all his ministers and called the head minister and said, send a party, I want to find this place. So then the head minister said, I'll bring my own brother. He called his brother, Vidyapati, and told him that find this place. The king ordered, and since you're close to me, I'm giving you this duty. So he took it as a very serious mission. He traveled different places all over, but specifically he heard it's somewhere in the northeast of the Bharatvarsha. So he went and found this place. So he approached and he saw this place. He came to, from far away he heard sounds of worship. So then he could understand, I'm coming near. He saw Neel Madhav, the Nilgiri hill. So as he approached, he saw the Shabaras. And, but he didn't yet see the deity. This narration goes on. And if you read different parts of different narrations, there are differences, small differences. So anyway, we won't go in great detail. But what happened is that Vidyapati stayed overnight. Next day, he told the Shabaras, I want to see this place. Then they all got panicked because they heard of a prophecy that in future one king will come and then the deity will leave. So they said, okay, he's not a king, but he's representing a king. Now what will happen? But they dutifully took him, okay, this is the form of Neel Madhav. And he was shocked, he saw the form. He saw this is Swayam Bhagavan, his descendant, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So there are many narrations there that they told him that you cannot know the root. So he dropped mustard seeds, then the mustard seeds grew into plants, so later on he could find the way. And it said that he stayed on, then he made a plan that he married the daughter of the priest, because they didn't let him see it. So he married the daughter of Vishwavasu, the head of the Shabaras. And then because he said, I'm your son-in-law, at least I have to see the deity. Many narrations, different versions. So anyway, he saw the deity. And then he returned. One day he left, returned to the king and told the king. And then the king was a Rajrishi, devotee. So he said, okay, now we are all going to shift to Puri, to this place. We'll shift the capital there. So they took all the citizens, the ministers, they went in a long procession. Again, long narration, how it happens. They come, gradually they came to Bhuvaneshwar. In Bhuvaneshwar, they saw the deity, the important deity there of Lord Shiva, Bhuvaneshwar. So these deities were there from before, from Satya Yuga. Who installed them, how, who knows. So they saw these Tirthas, deities, they came, and they also came to a form of Narsinghadev. Narsinghadev also, if you go to Jagannath Puri, there's a deity of Narsinghadev. It was there before. And it's described there that the form of Narsinghadev was wearing gold jewelry, fine cloth, and had nails very sharp like needles, and teeth were very fierce. The deity was beautiful, and it was very opulently appearing, but no one was worshipping. After they passed the deity of Nrsingadev, a voice came that, King Indradyumna, you want to see the deity of Nil Madhav, but he has disappeared. And because earlier in the narration in Purushottam Kshetra Mahatmya, it says that the deity was there, but when the Shabaras went again to worship, the deity had disappeared. So, but Vidyapati had gone to call the king. So the king came, he didn't know, he came, and so the deity is not there. He didn't see, he heard the voice, Akashvani. So after he heard that, he was in great depression, what to do. But then another voice came and said, but don't worry, I'm going to appear in another form and fulfill your desire. Swayam Bhagwan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I will appear and you will be able to see me directly and serve me. Okay. So he continued on the way, and as he went on towards towards the deity, he reached that place. So now what happens? Narad Muni joins him. He guides him what to do. He tells him that and then Lord Brahma comes. Lord Brahma is going to assist you, and the form of Lord Jagannatha will be installed. So he has a dream. In the dream, the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes to him and tells him that he's going to appear tomorrow morning. He said, go and take your bath in the ocean, and a log of wood will come and touch you. That you should take that piece of wood and carve the deities, and it will be carved by Vishwakarma. Vishwakarma is the architect of the demigods. He will carve the deity. So that happened. He took his bath, the log of wood came, and Vishwakarma carved the deity. And after that, the form of Lord Jagannath manifested. After that, Baladev, Subhadra Maharani, and Sudarshan. So it was carved by Vishwakarma himself. And the deity was installed by Lord Brahma himself. And Lord Brahma laid out the way to worship, which is now followed in Jagannath Puri. Actually, Lord Brahma, the first created being himself, was there. And the original structure of the temple, where the deities are, that was also created at the time Lord Brahma. Then later on it expanded. So after everything was installed, King Indradyumna, Lord Brahma did the bathing ceremony, Snana Yatra, and this is what is the event today, Snana Yatra. On this day, Jyeshta Purnima, Jyeshta Shukla, Purnima day of Jyeshta Mas, it's the hottest day, almost. It's saying here actually in Shastra, this is the hottest day. So they bathe the deity and installed. And then later on, the way of how to worship the deity was given by Brahma, and over time it was added on. Different pure devotees added on some things. Even our Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he established some parts of the rituals. So it was installed. This is the appearance of Lord Jagannath, given in Shastra itself. The temple that we can go today also to this temple. It's there. And we can understand that what is different between this spiritual culture, Vedic culture, and other cultures, that we have history of millions of years and still continuing. Then we can understand this is not under time, it's not under material nature. Nothing goes on like this. Nothing is able to, even one family will make money, establish a business, next the son comes, he spends all the money, he ruins the business. You cannot maintain a business, cannot maintain even a legacy. But these cultures are going on. They're preparing this bhog. They're doing this worship over generations. Even now within the temple, the Shabaras, their descendants, on Snana Yatra day, they take over the worship. So that is significant. As mentioned in Sri Purushottam Mahatmya. Hare Krishna. Any question? Shri Jagannath Swami ki jai.